Did it meet your expectations? Were you satisfied?
No. Yeah, I know. But let me get you some context. So me and my wife, prior to our wedding night, we had a conversation about sexpectations. And this helped us way more than we ever thought. Spoiler alert, we're going to get a little hot, honest, open, and transparent. And just to add a little extra layer of intimacy, the person that's answering the questions is blindfolded, so they cannot see the expression of the one asking.
Did we have sex prior to wedding night? Why or why not?
We did not.
Why? Because we're just wanting to do it right, do it God's way. It's something I never did before in previous relationships, and I really believe that that's why it didn't work out.
We wanted to honor God, and that we knew for this to work and for us to do it the way God intended, then we would have to abstain from having sex prior to marriage. We didn't want to sin. And we knew that us doing it this way, by honoring God, then our marriage would start off on the right foot. Were there boundaries, safe words discussed?
I want to say we were joking that our safe word was going to be like banana or something. Do you remember? I don't know.
Okay, so the boundaries that we talked about beforehand were things that we both would be okay or not okay with doing. We did talk about, I don't remember all the details, but as far as, hey, I don't want to do this position, like we ain't putting nothing over here, ain't nothing going over there. We also talked about as far as not having, third-party items. You get what I'm saying, viewer?
What's okay, what's not okay, no squares. But also, now that I think about it, I'm kind of like, were these boundaries set because neither of us were like, I guess, pure prior to our marriage?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous were you?
A 1.
Nervous? I'd probably say on that night, maybe like a 2 or 3.
I almost said 0, but I would say a 1, only because I thought that maybe you might be nervous, and you possibly being nervous was making me slightly nervous, but I'm very surprised that it was very minimal. But I also think that the comfortability and just the knowing that this is my husband, God sent you to me, that there was no reason to be nervous. Who initiated? I want to say you, but I don't really remember.
I would say she technically initiated just by,
let's say it was mutual. Final answer, because we both knew it was gonna happen. So
I would go with her. Survey says final answer. She initiated first. Was it awkward?
No, not at all. You know what?
It wasn't awkward. It seemed actually very organic and very natural.
As it was getting closer to the moment, I was in my head a lot, in the sense of, don't make this awkward, don't make this awkward. Like, I was telling myself, don't make this awkward.
The fact that we waited and we had the conversations and we talked about all the other things, that helped it not be awkward.
If you could change one thing, what would it be?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Final answer.
Was it worth the wait?
Yes. Because, I'm just gonna say it, was the best night of my life.
100%. I have a lot of self-conviction about things that I do. I know certain people, or people in general, not everybody has the same convictions about things maybe they do wrong, it's sins that they have. But I knew that if I was to do this, then God wouldn't be pleased with it. So I'm glad that we did wait, because once we were able to have sex in the manner, in the setting that God intended, all of the pressure and everything was off. It wasn't like, okay, yeah, that felt great, but now I feel bad. That was, best time of my life, but woe is me. I gotta run away from God. Because we waited afterwards, everything, it was just, we did a great job. I didn't have any type of remorse or any type of guilt or shame that came afterward.
And therefore, it was worth the wait. What are small details that made a big difference?
Small details that made a big difference.
Just talking out that night.
In a hotel room, we've put all of our bags down, help her unbutton the dress, and then we already knew, okay,
I'm gonna take a shower, you can take a shower, we're not showering together.
if we were gonna have lights on or off. So even that aspect, okay, all right, I know lights are gonna be off. I know if we're using protection or not protection, like just all of those things, we kind of already covered those bases.
It was just planned out, and therefore, I think those small things made the biggest difference. So it also helped with if there was gonna be any nervousness or awkwardness or whatever, we had a plan to follow through with. So I think that helped. Was it romantic?
My wife will probably say no, or not as romantic.
Yeah, it was. It was. I would say that my lovely husband is not romantic in the traditional sense, I guess.
I'm not a rose petal guy.
There's no rose petals on the bed because he's like, someone has to clean that up. Just to give you an idea. He also doesn't like chocolate on fruit, so.
I think I'm romantic, but I guess not in the ways that others may seem as romantic gestures.
But it was still romantic in the sense that he was very caring and loving, and so from, I guess, the internal sense is that he's romantic. Did you have sex or make love on your wedding night?
We did both. Final answer.
I was gonna say made love, but my husband, I've learned, thinks otherwise.
Was there music playing?
No.
Do you care to say why not?
Like, what are we gonna play? I heard David and Tamela Mann put out a lovemaking Christian album. No, I'm being serious. I heard that. It's like worship, like lovemaking music. I'm not about that life. Did it meet your expectations? Were you satisfied?
No, because it exceeded my expectations. I went in thinking, to be honest, I'm comparing to whenever fill in the blank last time I had sex, but obviously this wasn't with my wife. It wasn't with Erica. So this is all I have to go off, just past relationships, me doing the foolery, being in world sin and all of that. So that was, okay, I did this or whatever the case may be. And again, every time I was in the world and I did whatever I did, there are moments where, okay, oh yeah, maybe the flesh is, it feels good or whatever the case may be, but it was always that instant regret afterwards. Oh, I failed. Oh man, God is, I'm not gonna make it into heaven. Oh, I sinned. Woe is me. And even the process with those women during, that time of my life, it was just something different. In me going into our marriage and everything that happened and transpired, it exceeded expectations because it really just hits different. It's hard to explain. I believe personally that if you have sex outside of marriage, that the sex that you have in a marriage, committed relationship, one man, one woman, husband and wife, none of that extra stuff going on, that sex is completely different. And as long as God has called those two people to be together, then that is gonna be the best sex that you could ever have, because it's in the right space, it's in the right time, it's in the right parameters. Both parties are agreeing, and like I said, there's none of that guilt, there's none of that shame, there's none of that woe is me that comes afterwards. It's just I'm enjoying myself with my wife, or her perspective, I'm enjoying myself with my husband. God gets all the glory, and easy day. What's up, viewer, YouTube, welcome to Iron Sharpens Iron. And on this channel, we have Christ-like conversations. And as you can see, if you made it this far, you saw something pretty intimate, something that me and my wife talked about, and we believe that it is a conversation that should be had by Christ-like people, especially if you are aspiring to be married, you want to get married. And the conversations that we had helped us on our wedding night to get over jitters, nervousness, and all those things. And it just helped put a lot of things in perspective for one another. The boundaries that we set, the things that we said we would do, we wouldn't do, all those things, those conversations, it was very helpful for us. And again, we just pray that you saw this, you watched it. If you are about to be married and you have that conversation with your husband, future husband or future wife, and you just figure out, okay, is this okay? Is this not okay? So that each person is comfortable and as comfortable as possible. And ultimately, we would want our relationship to glorify our Heavenly Father.
I just remember not having a lot of people, and by a lot, I mean really any people in our lives that lived where they were like celibate before marriage. So there wasn't anyone that we could necessarily talk to about that. Of course, there's like our pastor and stuff, but he's older. I would just say in our age range, in modern times, in today's times, there was really no one that we could talk to about this. And so hopefully, if you're in the same boat as us, this video will help you.
Yeah. If you did enjoy what you saw, you liked it, you got something, you learned something from it, make sure you share, like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. And we'll see you next time in a future video.
And follow on TikTok.
Godspeed. Do I look silly?
Have you ever seen Bug's Life?